Find out what's in my new book, titled Mr. Smart, Stay Safe Online. Once upon a time, there was an old battered computer shop in the heart of London, where a boy named Mr. Smart bought a very, very old computer. But this computer was a very peculiar one. Oh yes, it was a talking computer. It barked out orders whenever a child did something wrong. It was the cop for children, a policeman without handcuffs. As for Mr. Smart, it happened to be his best mate, not because it barked out orders, but because he loved social media sites. Well, they say computers are clever, but this one was brilliant. It all began the first time the computer spoke. Like most children, Mr. Smart was chatting away to a stranger who he hardly knew on the internet, but wasn't particularly keen on listening to the computer. For him, chatting to strangers was part of the fun of the internet. "Oh, what a sad mistake," said the computer. "If you aren't sure, you've got to tell someone." "Maybe my mother. Well, I don't have a father. Maybe I just shouldn't tell anyone at all," murmured Mr. Smart. "Hey, anyway, who are you to tell me what to do? I don't listen to hinge men like you," raged Mr. Smart. "I'm not a hinge man. I'm a computer," replied the computer. "But you sound like one. Either way, I'm not going to listen to a foolish thing like you," said Mr. Smart. "If you don't listen, you might get hurt," the computer replied. "I don't care. A foolish thing like you shouldn't tell me what to do anyway," he replied arrogantly. "By the way, how come you speak and other computers don't? You must be cheating." "I just happen to be a speaking computer," said the computer. "Damn, I knew it. It's a cheating computer." "No, not a cheating computer. The talking computer." "Okay, say something to me that's interesting." A voice from the computer barked again through the wind. "Tell your mother." "Tell my mother what?" asked Mr. Smart. "Tell your mum that you've been talking to a stranger," the computer ordered. "I'll return you to the computer shop to gather dust if you aren't careful," said Mr. Smart. Mr. Smart was like many other children who couldn't tell the difference between an adult and child. "I don't care. Tell your mother. Otherwise, I'll tell her," the computer sassed. "No, not my mother. She won't listen to me. She still fails to understand that I'm not a little kid anymore," Mr. Smart said. "Well, there are plenty of good people you could speak to." "Like who?" he asked. "Like the police, your teacher, or your doctor," replied the computer. The computer continued. "When you stare at the internet, it distorts your vision of the person on the other side." "True," he agreed. "You only see what they tell you, and not the character of the person," said the old battered computer. It happened. His friend's mother had told him about this before, though he paid no particular attention to it. Even though Mr. Smart knew the computer had spoken the truth, he was still logged onto Facebook. This kept him away from doing his homework. The computer asked about his use of Facebook, and he replied, "It keeps me away from trouble and bad friends." He forgot the internet is like taking a journey into the universe, with endless possibilities and danger. As a child assumes, they are taking a journey to an unknown destination, and so always need to tell an adult about every stage of their journey. They don't wait or delay. You need to assume everyone is a stranger at the other end of the computer. Don't share your address, mobile number, or school name with strangers. The internet is like getting into a car with a stranger. Anything can happen to you. Mr. Smart went back to the old computer shop to complain about the old battered computer. The shopkeeper asked, "Have you been visiting unusual sites?" "Like what?" "Like sites with set age limits?" "Yeah, I've been chatting to a stranger who wanted to play online games." "What a bad idea," replied the shopkeeper. "You may not know this, but it's a trick to gain your attention. It may lead to violence, threats, and even bullying," continued the shopkeeper. Mr. Smart refused to listen, so he returned the talking computer and went home. After a few days with his new computer, He had already done a terrible mistake. But it was too late, as the talking computer had been sold to another needy child. Ever since then, he vowed to always listen.
My name is Bright Emma Johnson. Please subscribe to my channel for more audio visuals. Or you can click on the link below to buy my books or leave a review.